Hello and welcome everyone, this is Type V3 and the Goddess of Light has given me 5 minutes to show you Max Factory's latest Figma. This is Pit, the fan favorite Nintendo character as he's seen in the 3DS game Kid Icarus Uprising. Pit's 3D model and cartoonish art style made the transition into figure form extremely well. Proportions are correct, details are spot on, and the paintwork is absolutely flawless. It's hard to pinpoint any aesthetic faults that aren't already an inherent weakness to the Figma line, such as backs of the knees or elbow joints looking awkward. I sincerely doubt that any competitor looking to make their own posable Pit will fail to outdo this Figma in the looks department. Another one of Max Factory's biggest strengths lie in their face sculpts, and as expected, they delivered exceptionally with this Nintendo Angel. Whether it's the confident smile or his valiant shout, both faces definitely capture the likeness and personality of the character. Though I would have preferred a dumbfounded expression to be included as well, since Pit always came off as being too innocent and very gullible in the game. Now, despite having these huge feet that cover a lot of area and they look very stable, they pretty much are, thing is his wings are super back heavy, so the minute you angle them backwards, suddenly Pit can't stand, so you have to keep them always parallel with his backside and very flushed up against him in order for him to stand on his own. Otherwise, you have to use the included Figma stand, but that's really not that much of an issue. Articulation as a whole is what you'd expect from most Figmas. He's got everything you'd expect him to, even the torso is cool there. The wings themselves are on Figma joints, they go up and down, rotate, and there's a second hinge in the middle. And despite looking very similar, these wings are not very symmetrical. This one curves outwards, and this one curves inwards. So one's convex, one's concave, depending how you look at it. He does have some limited range in places. His elbows can only go 90 degrees because of his thick armband there. And his hands and feet, because these are just really flat, wide surface edges here, they can't really take advantage of all their ball-jointed articulation. As a whole, he's got great posability. It's everything you'd expect from a Figma. Could it have been done a little bit better? Maybe, but there's nothing really here to complain about. Pit comes with 7 different hands. However, because they're so big, they don't come on a traditional Figma hand rack. He's got a pair of fists for punching, and a pair of open-palmed, dynamic hands for posing. Next up are the gripping hands, which are meant for his holy blades, and they look great. You can also clip on a pair of translucent yellow halos to complete the look. A word of caution though, these are very fragile, so use gentle force when attaching them. The blade's hilts can also be removed and then replaced with a single extended grip connecting the two. This creates Palutena's holy bow. Obviously there's an arrow included and even a specialized hand used to draw it. The arrow itself does come with its own pair of halo rings too. And yes, the arrow and rings are as frail as they appear. Then there's the somewhat surprising inclusion, a mono-eye enemy with its own stand. The overall finish is clean if not a tad simple, and you can even rotate his eye by swiveling the center tentacle. Finally, you also get an exclusive pair of AR cards to be used in tandem with the 3DS game. Most toy collectors will have no use for these, yet it's always nice to see incentives thrown in to get other audiences interested. Now I'll be honest, I'm not a very big Pit fan. In fact, apart from his existence, I knew nothing about the character until I had to sit down and film this review. I wasn't expecting much from the toy, but to my surprise, Pit turned out to be one of the better Figmas I've experienced. Moreover, one of the best action figures overall. Visually, he's flawless. Again, no complaints on that front. Sure, that may have attributed to some of the limits in articulation, but I don't think he suffered any detrimental trade-off because of that. Then there's the plentiful accessory count. Actually, having both the mono-eye and the AR cards included seem a tad generous for a sub $30 price tag. In comparison to the other Nintendo Figmas, he's not quite as spectacular as Samus due to his faults in posability, but his superb accessory count makes him easily outclass Link. Ultimately, Figma Pit is a complete success by my standards and one toy I fully recommend, especially if, like me, your primary goal is that Super Smash Bros. Display. Anyways, this has been Type V3. Thanks for watching, and I hope I was able to inform you on one of Nintendo's more niche characters. As for me, well, Lady Palutena has informed me that my 5 minutes are almost up and, sadly, it's time for me to go. See you later.